Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever felt utterly drained by constantly trying to manage, every person and situation around you?
Oh, absolutely. That feeling that if they would just change, everything would be easier.
Exactly. Well, this deep dive is all about getting back your mental and emotional energy. And it starts with a shift in perspective that sounds simple, but maybe isn't.
Right. We're diving into Mel Robbins' The Let Them theory.
Yeah, it's this really powerful framework. It's designed to help you release that need to control others.
hmm And redirect that focus back where it belongs on your own actions, your own well-being.
You probably know Robbins from her 5-second rule, right? That was huge.
Yeah, that was all about internal self-improvement, getting yourself moving.
And the let them theory feels like the next step, sort of its evolution. It specifically tackles those external battles we face, the ones the 5-second rule couldn't really fix on its own.
And what's really compelling, I think, is where this theory came from. It wasn't some academic exercise.
No, not at all. It grew out of Mel Robbins' own really profound personal change. I mean, get this, she was 41, unemployed.
Uh-huh. And facing massive debt, like
Oh.
$800,000 in
Yeah.
debt.
And this 5-second rule, that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown, that was her way, almost like a trick she played on herself.
Just to force herself into action, right? To
Yes.
rebuild her life step by tiny step.
Exactly. But here's the fascinating part.
Even after all that success, she realized something was still off.
Right. She found a huge chunk of her mental energy was still getting eaten up by managing or worrying about other people.
Their opinions, what they might say, what they expected, all that stuff.
And that realization that so many internal struggles are actually tied to fearing what others think or do.
That became the spark for this new framework, shifting from just self-motivation to how we handle, everyone else.
Okay, so the core idea is release control. But, I mean, that's tough, isn't it?
It really is. It feels almost wrong sometimes to just let them, especially when you care or the situation feels important.
So how do we actually do it? How does it work in practice?
Well, the theory really has two main parts, let them and let me.
Okay.
The let them part is about radically accepting other people's behavior, their choices, their opinions, just accepting them.
But it's not just giving up, is it? It's not passive resignation.
No, that's the key. The aha moment is realizing that your peace doesn't have to depend on their actions.
Right, right. Like that colleague who misses a deadline, or maybe you're making a big life choice and you're terrified of what a parent will think.
Exactly. Instead of spinning out, getting frustrated, trying to force things,
Yeah.
you consciously pause and think, let them.
Okay. And what does that do?
It acts like a mental circuit breaker. It engages the rational part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex,
Uh-huh.
to sort of override the amygdala. That's your emotional alarm system, the fight or flight thing.
So it stops that draining stress response before it even starts.
Pretty much.
Right.
It conserves that precious mental energy.
I can immediately think of like 5 times this week I tried to manage something totally outside my control. It's just exhausting.
It really is. And then there's the other side.
The let me part.
Exactly. That's about turning that energy you just saved back inwards. Let me focus on my reaction. Let me handle my part. Let me protect my peace.
Okay, that makes sense. But that leads to one of the trickier parts, I think.
Which is,
How do you actually help someone who's struggling if you're just letting them? Don't you sometimes need to step in?
yeah. This is where the theory really challenges how we usually think about helping. It talks about principles like the more you rescue, the more they sink.
Wow. Okay. What does that mean?
It describes this kind of boomerang effect.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep pushing someone to change, keep rescuing them, they often just dig their heels in more. They become more resistant.
So trying to help can actually backfire.
It often does. So instead, the theory suggests practicing radical acceptance.
Accepting people and situations exactly as they are, right? Not how you wish they were.
Precisely. And sometimes, this is the hardest part, letting them fail.
Oof. That sounds harsh.
It can feel that way.
Yeah.
But Robbins calls it a most beautiful detachment. It's about giving them the space to figure things out themselves for self-driven growth.
So you're dealing with the person who's actually in front of you, not some idealized version or their potential.
Exactly. You acknowledge their autonomy, even when you don't like their choices. It's not abandonment. It's a different, maybe deeper kind of respect.
Okay, so let's talk about the reception. Some people rave about this, call it life-changing, pure freedom, but others have said it's, repetitive or just common sense. Why the split?
That's a great question. I think if we look at the bigger picture, this isn't meant to be some dense academic text breaking new ground in theory.
Okay.
It's really, really effective popular psychology. It does an amazing job packaging some pretty old ideas.
Like Stoic philosophy, focus on what you can control.
Exactly. That core Stoic idea, plus modern cognitive behavioral techniques, all wrapped up in a super simple, memorable mantra. Let them.
So the repetitiveness might actually be a feature, not a bug.
I think so. It hammers the concepts home in different ways until something just clicks. It turns what might seem obvious into something you can actually use, an actionable principle, especially if you're at a point where you're ready to hear it.
Right. It's less about discovering a brand new idea and more about internalizing a powerful existing one.
Precisely. For many, it's the shift they needed.
So ultimately, this deep dive really shows us that the let them theory is about mastering your locus of control.
Yeah, knowing what's yours to influence and what just isn't, and focusing your energy wisely.
By releasing that need to manage everyone else, the let them.
You free yourself up to focus on your own stuff, your own happiness, the let me, which usually leads to a lot more personal peace, right?
It definitely sounds like it. So maybe it's something for you to think about. What aspect of someone else's behavior are you trying to control right now? And what might actually happen if you decided to just let them?